So let's talk about it. Um, AI, big deal. A lot of people are like, man, AI is going to take all the jobs. And I really want to talk about this critically because I don't know what it really means. If AI were to take everyone's jobs is really a system of a value exchange for time. Companies give money to people, people give their manpower to drive the operation of corporations that sell products to those very same people. So people give their man hours to, let's say, a Coca Cola. Coca Cola outputs financial benefit buying the time of those said humans. And those humans can then exchange that money, which was a note for your time. So you can now buy a consumer good like the Coke that you are helping create. So it's almost like a system, it's like a cycle. We give you money so you can buy the things that we make. So that's the cycle. So now if you are no longer needed to make the things, we don't need to pay you for your efforts. So where do you now earn value for your time? And that is currently this system in the model of the world, is that our time is how we are exchanging time, which has, there's a lot to that. What is your time? My time is valued through skill. So I have skills and different things and knowledge. So knowledge and skill makes your time more valuable than other time. So if my personal time itself is valuable because you're going to be man hours through your skill and knowledge. And in some job cases, it's just through your physical ability to do something. So being a plumber and things like that. So that'll be valuable for a very long time, maybe even more valuable because less people want to do those jobs. And then that is a specialist skill, a mechanic, a plumber, whatnot. So then I'm talking about an idea, buddy. The idea of the idea of having a skill, a softer skill that AI can replace. That's more maybe a digitized skill or other skills that are like that can be computerized. It then becomes, where does your time valuation has to be informed a certain kind of way. Your skill and knowledge has to be informed a particular type of way that is nuanced enough that it's hard to kind of pull that out of AI, so to speak. So for my job as a creative director in advertising and making ads, a computer can kind of conjure up a bunch of ideas based on a lot of work that's been done and kind of use that as a litmus. And it can kind of come up with like, hey, you can do this or that and have good suggestions from that world. Then it becomes even more important that you have a nuanced perspective. That's just like general ideation, right? General ideation, sure, can be replaceable. But then there's like the executional processes that go into that. Creative solves in the moment of the inner workings and processes of creativity and bring creativity into fruition. That can also be ideated on, but someone has to lead and shepherd that, and it's a human to human interaction. You need people in a place to do a thing at certain times. You have to take into account a lot of things human wise. There's no AI bot that's making that phone call and driving that car and standing there and filming. Someone has to operate that AI. So there's going to be the function of kind of shepherding and guiding the AI. It is not a fully autonomous process to everything. Will take an enormous amount of time. So mastery of these tools, so you can kind of stay at the wheel, would become still a value skill. Plus, if you have the tangible underneath skills, so it's kind of like knowing how to use a typewriter, I guess. But then like computers came along, you didn't need a typewriter, but you kind of understood how to type things, so that kind of gave you or maybe it's more like knowing MS DOS, but but you also know how to just use other programs. You know, you may understand how it works under the hood in terms of general work. You understand how it works under the hood, but there's you don't have to anymore. So it would behoove you in general to embrace AI as an empowered person who can wield it like a hammer or something else. There will be a decrease in the workforce for sure across all industries, but I think it's very important that the average person find a way to have some standardization of mastery of wielding such a strong tool that has the ability to be to have autonomous processes, but there's also human-led processes that it'll be able to do, and that human-led processes is where like you can have efficiencies through that. So how do I use? There's a process that it goes through, but it doesn't output as nuanced as it could with human input. So human input can lead to more nuanced output of that artificial intelligence because it is artificial. That human bit takes it to make it where the worlds are blending, and I'm getting something that has soul in it, but it's also doing some automations of things that in the process were inefficiencies that are kind of invisible to the naked eye. So either way, I think it is of paramount importance that everyone look at AI as a tool that's coming no matter what, and at like maybe worst case scenario, you have to have some agency with AI. You have to have some level of agency with AI, or society itself will leave you behind like the internet, or worse, because it's such a powerful tool that now you don't even know how to wield the tool. So then autonomous processes are not only taking your job, there's other processes you could help shepherd and lead and guide, because the processes, we can do a lot more of, like, let's say, come up with songs for soundtracks for things. You could be one of the people trying to come up with songs for things, and now you're a tastemaker based on your human behavior and your human experience, but you could also help curate and build in a whole new work stream. But you didn't spend a second even learning of AI's capabilities and how it is a tool to you in your particular space. So I don't think it's going to destroy and take everyone's jobs. I think it's just going to shift work streams, workflows, and it can automate several industries and several layers of industry, maybe lower skill time. Lower skill time, we don't necessarily, if you're of lower skill, let's say, and you don't really know that much, maybe that can be replaced. But still, you should be looking at that and saying, how can I use these tools to augment myself? But in addition to that, how can I learn to wield the tool itself? It is a tool I must learn to wield. So at the very least, I can jump into guiding autonomous processes across different industries in different kinds of ways. It's up to you to figure that out right now, or have at least a head start. So I don't believe it's going to take everyone's jobs. I do believe there will be a lot of automated processes that people need to wrap their arms around the potential of leading those processes, and it'll just turn into basically factories of work that output significantly more because there's a computer behind it, automated processes through artificial intelligence. But human intelligence mixed with artificial intelligence leads to the most natural work, because companies still want to sell things to humans. And though some of our sensibilities will be hit in a lot of ways, there's certain nuances to things that the human interaction with the interfaces of artificial intelligence will still make these consumer goods something that we want to grasp to, want to connect to. And then from the human standpoint, it'll be an interesting backing away from digitizing ourselves and getting much more back to analog existence, as that makes us feel more connected, more tangible, in person. I feel you, physically see you, physically touch you. The thing you are giving me is physical. We'll probably retreat from a digitized existence, as most things will revolve around a digitized experience, so much so that the physical of things is just going to be so much more important, and it just makes you feel more alive. I believe this is like 50 years out type talk. But yes, so AI is not taking all jobs. I don't believe so. I think it will definitely impact greatly lower skill tiers of industry. Lower skill tiers of industry, where you just need warm bodies sometimes. That is my big warning to anyone that may feel that they are not necessarily higher level with any form of industry. It is super duper important to look at your industry, look at what you do, and say, how can I use artificial intelligence to augment myself to get me in front of the technology so I can be a leader of it?